Exactly.
Hey, Devin Caney's feeding me more information. According to Adam Schefter, the Tennessee Titans are planning to trade wide receiver A.J. Brown to the Eagles.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm good with that.
Eagles.
Okay, I'm loving that.
I would love to see a veteran wide receiver like an A.J. Brown.
Absolutely.
And Eagles green.
Yeah, the Eagles took J-Jaw over A.J. Brown, so let's avenge that, okay? Let's make sure that we're forgetting about that. But according to Jeff McClain's reporting this too, the Eagles are trading for A.J. Brown. They dealt number 18 and 101.
Wow.
April 28, 2022. The Philadelphia Eagles are on draft night and everything is on the line. GM Howie Roseman steps into a tense room, negotiates the A.J. Brown trades, but the deal nearly collapses before it even starts. That moment later became the turning point of a championship run. Exactly what happened behind the closed doors? Let's figure out.
How in the hell did the A.J. Brown trade, when you got that
How'd
phone
you fleece
call,
that?
however.
Well, at the time, I'm not sure everyone felt that way. I think AJ, one incredible player, and he was a guy that really we had spent so much time on going into the draft and really fucked it up by not taking him in the first round. We should have. And then you get an opportunity to bring him here and in this city and how he's fit in and the kind of player that he is and just a different kind of receiver, some guys, they hate to be tackled.
The room was split. Some scouts argued the Eagles should keep the draft pick and select a young receiver who's safer, cost-effective, and less complicated. However, Roseman believed Brown was the rare talent worth risking capital and cap space for. On the Titans side, contract talks with Brown had stalled. They feared giving him the top-of-market extension he wanted. That hesitation opened the door for Philadelphia. For a period, the trade almost didn't happen. Roseman refused to move without a contract agreement. No deal unless it's long-term. Those words nearly killed the talks. However, late in the night, paperwork clicked into place. The Eagles shipped the 18th and 101st picks to Tennessee, securing Brown and a 4-year, $100 million extension. In the span of minutes, Philadelphia's future was rewritten.
Kind of dealing with the fact that we have 2 picks. And we had to make sure that first pick was right because really that's the anchor. That's the anchor, like that first pick in the draft. And shoot, I'm not so sure Jordan Davis can't handle an anchor. Like we had the Penn relays this week, I'm not so sure. Man, that guy's a freak. So we had to do that. And then at the same time, like we don't have the deal done. And so got to go and try to finish that deal because, you want to be fair to John Robinson, like it's kind of like, am I picking 18th? Am I, what's going on here? And at the same time, Philly, Ross, it. And just imagine that, like, we can't get a deal with AJ and all of a sudden 3 days later, it's reported like we can't get a deal. We had AJ Brown and we couldn't get him. Woo, boy, that wouldn't be good. So, there weren't many people who knew about this. And so a part of it was like, we also wanted to have a competitive advantage of no one knowing what we were trying to do in the first round. So nobody trade up in front of us and get one of the players. If we had a receiver, that probably changes the approach for teams of our first pick. And, same thing with J-Rob. J-Rob wanted to make sure he got.
Opening week, September 2022, Brown lined up in green for the first time against the Detroit Lions. 10 catches and 155 yards, the most receiving yards by any Eagles player in a debut game. The team probably wanted to convey that it wasn't any ordinary acquisition, but a weapon that completely changed defensive game plans overnight. By season's end, Brown posted 1,496 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. He finished 4th in the league in receiving yards and gifted Philadelphia something it hadn't had in years: a true alpha receiver. Defenses rolled coverage toward him, and in doing so, opened space for Devonta Smith and tight end Dallas Goedert. That trade had already paid off in one season, but its true value was still to come. Practically, A.J. Brown's impact wasn't just physical, but personal. He and quarterback Jalen Hurts were already close friends before the trade. That bond smoothed the transition. At practice, teammates noticed the difference. Hurts threw deep outs and back shoulder passes with a confidence he hadn't shown before. He knew Brown would fight for every ball. That trust spread across the roster. On third downs in red zone moments, Hurts looked for Brown first, and more often than not, Brown delivered. In 2022, Hurts jumped from 16 touchdown passes the previous year to 22. His passer rating was skyrocketing. Analysts credited Brown for giving Hurts the freedom to play aggressively and fearlessly. Notably, quarterback development often hinges on timing. Hurts got Brown at exactly the right moment. Without him, Hurts may have grown slowly, but since he was there, Hurts became an MVP candidate.
Difference maker, and I just think it was something that had to work for both sides, and for where we were and where Tennessee is. I'm appreciative of J-Rob and Coach Vrabel, and I think it was a win-win situation where they were able to get picks, cost control picks, and we're in a situation with a young quarterback on a rookie deal that we were able to kind of take a swing here at a great player.
So did that happen day before draft, weeks before? Like, can you walk me through the timeline?
Now let's fast forward to February 9th, 2025. It was New Orleans. The Eagles were back in the Super Bowl, that time against the Kansas City Chiefs. The pain of their loss in Super Bowl 57 was still lingering. Brown made sure history didn't repeat. In the third quarter, he caught a 12-yard touchdown that extended Philadelphia's lead. He finished the night with 86 yards, commanding double coverage and pushing Kansas City to adjust. The Eagles finally rolled to a 40-22 victory. Green and white confetti filled the stadium. For Roseman, the moment validated the risk, while fans got the proof that the trade was smart. In fact, it became the foundation of a championship. Without Brown, the Chiefs might have adjusted more easily. However, with him, the Eagles overwhelmed one of the league's greatest dynasties.
I'm proud of this team. For moments like these, man, the hard work, the sacrifices, it's what it's for.
No doubt. So the name of the book you was reading was Inner Excellence?
Uh-huh.
All right, so that's what you were reading on the journey.
Yeah.
Getting you through the season.
Yeah.
I got to know what's the next book you going to read in celebration of the Super Bowl.
I don't know what's next. I may just pick it up and read it again because we got to start all over. We got to start all over and start again.
Yep.
AJ, coming over from Tennessee and then to Philadelphia, I was ecstatic when you got here, man. It's been a big transformation in your career, but you got to be satisfied with just the outcome of everything, regardless of how it looked.
Yeah. It's truly a blessing. I appreciate my time in Tennessee, but Howie came and got me, and Howie does a great job each and every year preparing us and getting a great team together, and I'm glad he did. And and his team went through tough times. Came up short one time, got here. Then the next year we crumbled a little bit, but it's all worth it. 2 years later, it's worth it.
AJ.
By 2025, Howie Roseman wasn't just another GM. He was the architect of a modern powerhouse. His resume now included 2 Super Bowl titles and the AJ. The Brown deal stood at the center of that legacy. It was way more than finding talent. Practically, it was about conviction. Roseman had stared at the risk and given up draft capital by handing out a massive contract. He said yes when others hesitated, and that decisiveness separated him from his peers. The move also redefined his reputation. Once criticized for missteps in the late 2000s and 10s, Roseman was now praised as the boldest decision maker in football. When fans chant, "In Howie we trust," they probably recall the A.J. Brown trade. The trade's impact stretched beyond the field. It literally changed how players around the league used to view the Eagles. Free agents started considering Philadelphia as a strategic destination where management would go all in to win. Draft picks stepped into a culture built on trust and ambition. Roseman doubled down in the years that followed. He signed Saquon Barkley in 2025, drafted Quinyon Mitchell, extended Lane Johnson, and locked in the offensive line that protected Hurts. Each move built on the credibility established that draft night in 2022. Now, the Eagles aren't just champions, but the standard of team building across the NFL. One trade, one goosebumps-inducing negotiation, and one bold decision made the Philadelphia Eagles become Super Bowl champions again. That night in April 2022 was hardly about acquiring a wide receiver. In actuality, it was about rewriting the future. A.J. Brown gave the Eagles dominance on the field, lifted Jalen Hurts to superstardom, and validated Howie Roseman as the league's best general manager. So, what do you think? Was the A.J. Brown trade the single boldest move of the last decade? Comment your thoughts below, hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that shape dynasties. See you soon.